Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyati Satarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So this Bhagavad Gita is just not a book, it's a timeless wisdom. You could see how Arjuna could see the bridge between confusion and the clarity. So today we are in the sixth chapter, getting to the sixth chapter. And I thank all of you for joining today. So let's embark in the sixth chapter, titled as Dhyāna-Yoga. All right. So let me do a quick review till now, what all we discussed from first chapter to fifth chapter, and then we'll embark into this chapter. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing chapter 6 in the Bhagavad Gita. So in chapter 1, we saw how Arjuna was confused and he was not ready to fight. We also saw the 5 reasons that he gave. Then in chapter 2, we discussed about how Arjuna surrendered and Krishna started speaking. So in the first chapter, Krishna was just listening. And second chapter, Krishna started speaking to Arjuna about the importance of soul. If we're not this body, we are soul. And in chapter 3, we could see that how the soul suffers because of different actions. We spoke about the karma, what Krishna taught us, karma yoga, doing things, without any attachment. Let's do duty properly. Then we spoke about the chapter 4, when we do good activities, like we do good activities, good karma, punya activities we do, then we'll go to the Swargaloka. But if we do some papa, that is bad activities, then bad actions, then we'll come back to the Nattaloka. But again, in both the cases, we have to again come to the material world. But then we spoke about very important aspect. That is, Bhakti Yoga. I'm going to say, to do akarma. Then what happens? We don't have to take birth either in the material world, nor no need to go to the earliest planet. Because, just give me one moment. Okay, so we spoke about the devotional service, how you do without selfish, and this is called akarma. So today, and by doing that, we'll go back to Godhead. But today, we're speaking about chapter 6. So yesterday, we had a very clear summary talk about chapter 5, how to do our duties without attachment to the result. We gave example of the lotus leaf not affected by water. Then we also spoke about how we should restrain our mind, because the mind can be a best friend. It can also be a worst enemy, right? We spoke about that. And this chapter specifically, we're talking about how we can control our mind using yoga system, right? So this chapter is divided into 4 parts. Okay, one is mind enemy or mind friends or enemy. That's the first part. Second is Ashtanga Yoga, then a failed yogi, and the supreme yogi. So this chapter is divided into 4 parts. If you want, you can take a snapshot of this. Okay, the first is we have 1 to 9 verses where the mind can be a best friend or worst enemy. So we can learn how to control them. Second, it's going to be Ashtanga Yoga from verse 10 to verse 36, where Krishna explains how to do proper meditation. Ashtanga Yoga, sitting alone, focusing our mind, being steady. All right. And then we'll speak about how a failed yoga, that is from verse 37 to 45. What if somebody tries, but they fail in meditation? Krishna, I think, not to worry about that. What happens for those who fall down now while doing meditation? Because they're doing meditation, the mind is here and there, So then we'll discuss. And then finally, we have Supreme Yogi. That is from verse 46 to 47. Krishna explains who is the best yogi among all yogis, and one who worships God, loves God, and is the highest. So we'll discuss this. It's a very important topic. So we know the 4 divisions of this chapter: mind, friend or enemy, Ashtanga Yoga, a failed yogi, and a supreme yogi. So let's get started. So first is we're going to speak about the mind. We all know that mind can be your best friend, can also be your worst enemy. And we also know what is the nature of a mind, right? Mind is like a chanchala, very fluctuating, right? I give you example of that monkey. If we have you ever seen a monkey sitting at one branch for a long time? No, keeps it hopping from one branch to another branch. No, so mind is like a very chanchala. So here Krishna talks about the nature of the mind and also explains what is yoga. All right. So these things will connect today. Now, here in this sloka 6.6, I'll read the sloka. It's about the nature of the mind. It's a very important topic, right? It says, Bandhur Atmanas Tasya Enasmatmana Jitaha Natmanastu Satruthe Vartatmava Satruvat. From him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Krishna says that for one who has conquered the mind is the best friend. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind becomes worst enemy. Now let's understand with an example. Let's say, suppose, I want to give you a bitter gourd juice. It's good for health. Bitter gourd is good for health. But the mind agrees with that. Why? Because you're saying it's good for health. Even though it tastes little bitter, you still take it. So what do we understand? Your mind is very friendly, right? Well, if the mind says no, it's bitter, I don't want to take it. It's like, I may vomit, I don't want. That means no, even though it is good for you, the mind becomes your enemy. So a controlled mind helps you to do the right things, whereas an uncontrolled mind pulls you to the wrong direction. So we should know how to train our mind so that we can stay peaceful and situated in a life. So I'll give you a very good example. Let's say one of your favorite food is on the plate, and you want to eat them. While just eating it, now somebody comes says, no, hey, your son got failed exam. Now just imagine you have samosas, kachoris in the plate. You love to eat that. You just took the kachori and you just want to put make a bite. Somebody told that no, your son got failed in the exam. So will you eat happily? No. Even the food is very tasty, you will lose the appetite. Why? Because the mind is disturbed. Exactly right. Let's say another example. Somebody serving you yesterday's food. It's not so fresh. And they told you please take it. And it's not fresh food. So you just keep saying like this. And suddenly somebody gives a good news for you. Then you know what? Your son, he got a distinction in the district level. So he got a top. And then because it's a good news, right? So even though the food is not so tasty, it's yesterday's food, your mind is very happy. So you will eat that very joyfully. So it's not about the food; it's the state of the mind. I'm sure. Am I making you very easy to understand? If the mind is very calm and very clear, you can enjoy every simple thing. But if the mind is disturbed, you can't enjoy anything, even the best thing you have. Now, I'll give an example. Let's say, because one thing that we should know, should not have expectations, because expectations always create suffering. Let's say when you suffer from a wrong expectation, I'll say, let's say you want to renew your, what do you say, Aadhaar card, or maybe renew your passport. Recently, I renewed my passport. I was traveling overseas, So I thought maybe it'll just take, 1 hour, 2 hour. Oh my God, it took almost like, whole day. Morning we went till evening it took. So that I was expecting it to take 1 hour to get my passport book, but then it took more than couple of hours. So I was frustrated, but I also was very upset. I got a lot of angry. Why this is so much of delay? So then just imagine, because let's say, I'm sure all of you have been to Tirupati, right? Tirupati, Balaji, Venkatamana, Govinda, Balaji, right? That's in. So if you go to Tirupati, your mind is already programmed. But if I go to Tirupati, if I want to take darshan of the Lord, I'm expected to at least wait in the queue at least for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. So now in this case, the mind will not disturb you. Why? Because the mind has become very friendly. So if we teach our mind the truth about the life, that why we are born, what is the goal of life, who is God, what happens after death, then the mind will not disturb. It will actually support us. That's where we can tell you how the mind actually makes you balance. So for that, I'll give an example. Uh, let's say tomorrow, I'm going to say you that tomorrow's class will be in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. So how many people will agree to come? Not everybody. Okay, just give me one moment. Haribo, reduce the volume, class. Okay. So yeah, just one moment. Yeah. So what example I was giving you that tomorrow I'm going to say tomorrow we have a class at 5 a.m. in the morning. So how many people will come? Hardly few of them will come. But if I say tomorrow is the morning, we have 5 o'clock, and those who attend the class in the morning, I'm going to deposit 1 lakh to your account. What will happen? Everybody will attend tomorrow's morning class. Forget about that. Today's class also nobody will disconnect. They'll just stay in the class. Why? Because tomorrow morning I'll be the first person, so I'll get the money. What I mean to say is that because we have trained the mind to believe, so I'm getting the money, right? So to fulfill the desire, mind and body both cooperates. But we don't understand how great the spiritual happiness is. That's why if we study Bhagavad Gita Shastras, we can realize what is the real goal and what is the real happiness. So our mind will also cooperate in spiritual life, so waking up in the early morning, doing meditation. Actually, the mind will cooperate. Why? Because we've not trained the mind. That's why it becomes very upset. People often say, I can't leave my family. I'm very attached. I agree. You say, I cannot leave my family. I'm very attached. But let's say somebody offers you a job, where you have to work in some foreign country, and I'm going to pay you 5 lakhs per month. Will you say, no, no, I will? No, you immediately leave the house. You immediately go to a foreign country because money is everything. So what, right? So you will leave everything and go. Why? Because, you can see there's a clear and benefit goal, right? So if you understand the same thing, how the spiritual things can benefit us, then the mind will supposed to support you fully. So that's why Kṛṣṇa says that understand who you are, who is God, what is your relation, where did you came from, and where you're going from after death. So when we learn these things from Bhagavad Gita, we can train the mind with the truth, and the mind becomes our best friend. So what I'm trying to say from this sloka is that train the mind and it will support you in all situations. Now, I have a question for all of you. Okay. The question is, excuse me one moment. The question is, uh, according to Kṛṣṇa, when does the mind becomes our best friend? According to Kṛṣṇa, good. When the mind is controlled and trained, absolutely yes. If the mind is controlled and trained, then it's very easy that our mind listens to us. Just remember yesterday I told you I want to use a phone. I bought the phone, I want to use it. But most of the time, what happens? The phone is using us, right? So like that, if you want to control your mind, make your mind the best friend, then you should know how to train the mind, right? Yes, I'm going to end the poll. I think many of them gave the right answer. I'll just share the result. Yes, that's the right answer. When the mind is controlled and trained. Perfect. Okay. Yesterday I spoke about this topic. Again I'm going to repeat this because it's very important. Okay. This is about the chariot of the body. So we know what's a chariot. It's compared to a body. Now we know who's a traveling person. That's the soul. I am. The driver, intelligence. The horses, senses. What are the senses? Your eyes, your nose, your ears, your tongue, your skin, senses. And the rope that is holding the horse is your mind. I think this is very clear, right? So now, if the driver doesn't hold the rope properly, what happens? What happens? The horse will go haywire, it will run widely from different directions. And because of that, the chariot, that's the body, will crash. The same way, if we don't control the mind, our senses will pull in so many directions. So our life becomes full of confusion and suffering. Now, I'll give you one example. Maybe this will be easy for you to understand. There was one man who was sitting outside the house. He was crying literally, Somebody asked, "Why are you crying?" The man said, "Yesterday, some thieves came and they stole all my valuables. But that's not the reason why I'm crying." Then the other guy was surprised. "Then why are you crying?" Then the man replied, "Actually, they stole everything and they tied everything in one bundle and they kept on my head. And one thief is pulling me in the south side, one in the north side, one in the east side, one in the west side. They're pulling me in different directions. I don't know which direction I'm supposed to go." It's a very funny example, but it has a very deep meaning. What is that? Our eyes, our ears, our tongue, our nose, they are like the thieves. Why? They always keep pulling us from different directions. Now eyes says see this, tongue says taste that, a nose says smell that, no, and ear says listen that. But we are the owner of the senses, not the servants. But what happens? We follow the senses without control, and our life becomes completely confused, painful, and aimless. So that's why we must control the mind and use the intelligence which is guided by Shastra. That's why we could see the example of the chariot. This chariot is our life. If it goes in the right direction, then we can reach the Paramgati, the supreme goal. That's why the soul is a destination to reach God. It has the destination to reach God. But if the driver, that's the intelligence, is not trained and the mind also is not controlled, he's not able to hold the rope also, then we will be keep going around the circle, birth after birth, and never reach the goal. So we must learn. We must learn from Shastras that Bhagavad Gita, understanding the purpose of life is to control mind and senses. Then the journey will be very safe and peaceful. Now, I have this question for you. You tell me what is your understanding about this chariot. Okay. In the chariot analogy, what does the mind represent? I gave you the analogy, right? In this yeah, a horse, not horse. See, I gave you the chariot. You see the guy with the 4 horses, 5 horses, and he's driving. That's intelligence. He's holding something in his hand. That is the rope, mind. So this body is like a chariot, and the mind represents the rope. So if you're not able to hold the rope properly, what happens? You will fall. You will crash. So somebody is giving an answer of horse. That means you are still not understood. You're still very confused. Why? Because you're not paying attention. And even the drivers very bad. Because it's not the intelligence, it's the mind. Remember, I told you yesterday, above senses, who's above senses? It's mind. And above mind, it is intelligence. And above intelligence is the soul. Do you recall yesterday I was telling you, let's say you and me are in the 10th floor, and I have you jump from 10th floor. Will you jump? You will not jump. Why? Because your intelligence says, if I jump, I'll break my legs. That's the reason why it is very important to understand that the above mind is intelligence. Intelligence will tell you, don't jump. And because of that, you will not jump. Now, who's saying this? Your intelligence. Now, here, I'm comparing that this intelligence is your driver. Now, driver is holding the rope. That is the mind. If you're not able to hold the rope properly, definitely we will go haywire. One horse says, let's go there. I says, let's see that. And here's, let me want to listen to this. Then what happens? You will fall into a ditch and you will fall. Right? That means there is no control over yourself. So, once again, I'm telling you, it is not the horses, it's not the driver, it is the rope. I see many of us are saying it's a driver. It's not the driver. Who the driver? Driver is the intelligence, right? But what is holding is the mind. Now, if the rope is not able to control, he will fall, right? So the answer is the mind represents not the driver. The mind represents the rope. Then what is the intelligence? Intelligence represents your driver. Make sense? Okay, I'll end the poll. You can see the result. Okay, the answer is rope. Okay, not driver. Okay, so it's very important to understand that where we're heading. Okay, now look at this screen. We all know we do yoga. Now, what is the definition of yoga? Yoga means connection, our relation with God. Now, many people say it's a breathing exercise. Is that a yoga? Somebody says they're doing exercise. Is that yoga? Somebody says, I'll go to Himalaya. Is that yoga? Somebody says, I'll leave everything, just go to forest. Is that yoga? Many people today think yoga means exercise, stretching their bodies, breathing, going to Himalayas. But the real yoga is not exercise. I will repeat. The real yoga is not at all exercise. Then what is the real yoga? The word yoga means connection. That is a relation between Jivatma and Paramatma. So we are Jivatma, the soul, right? And Paramatma is sitting within the soul, no? The super soul, right? Paramatma, Bhagwan. So the real yoga means connecting our soul with the Paramatma. That is connecting the soul with God. So this is the true meaning of yoga, not just some physical postures and breathing. Now, I will ask you some questions. Before that, how does this connection happen? See, it is just like this. When you spend some time with someone who's always very happy, you'll also start feeling happy, right? Let's say if you are with somebody who's always sad, you also will be very sad. If you touch a rose, you will find the rose fragrance. If you touch a jasmine flower, you feel the jasmine's fragrance. So whoever you associate with, their qualities will affect you. So in the same way, if you associate with the God, the divine qualities will slowly come in your life. That's why you will become peaceful, loving, and very happy, wise and happy. So, how do we associate with the God? That will be the next question. Associate by chanting the Lord's holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So God and God's name, they're non-different. It says Abhinatve Namne Namaha, right? So when we chant, you're connecting with the God. That is called yoga. Okay, I'll give you like this. Imagine you have a glass of dirty water. It's very dirty, And when you're chanting, what happens? It's like you're pouring a clean water into the dirty water. So you have a glass. The water is blackish color. It's very dirty. Now you're taking a clean water, a Bisleri water, and pouring on that glass. Now the moment you start pouring the water, slowly all the dirty water will start going out, going out, going out. And then the glass will become full of clean water. In the same way, our heart has a lot of impurities. But when we chant the Lord's holy name, like we are pouring the pure name of God, slowly we get purified. This is called a real yoga. That is, we are connecting to God and we become strong. So slowly we'll get purified. So this is called a real yoga. Now we have seen the previous karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga. So see, karma yoga means doing our work for God. We explained this earlier. Jnana yoga means understanding God through knowledge, right? And then all this, yeah, that's I would say now we're talking about the meditation, right? Dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga is meditating on God. It's also called Ashtanga yoga. All this so-called yoga, what they do, they only help us to connect with the God. That's why yoga means it's not exercise. Okay. So now, what is the true meaning of yoga? So you tell me, according to your understanding, what do you understand by yoga? So I'm putting a question on the poll. So let's see who's going to be the first person to answer. What is the true meaning of yoga? Okay, connecting the soul with God. Yes. That is the right answer. Not just stretching, not going to Himalayas, not sitting very quietly. People do Mauna Vrata. They say, I'm doing yoga. That's not yoga. Connecting, whatever you do, you should be connecting to the God. Okay, I'll end this quote. You're almost right. Yes, the answer is connecting the soul with the God. That's the right answer. Now, yoga is to control the mind, not exercise. We discussed that. But what about Ashtanga Yoga? Because that's what the topic is, Dhyāna-Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Now, if you want, you can make some notes also, or you can take a snapshot of this. So Lord Krishna is explaining about Ashtanga Yoga. There are 8 such things. What is that? One is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. If you want, you can take a snapshot of this. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. It's on the screen. Just take a snapshot of this, okay? So I will explain you one by one, and then we'll know what exactly I'm trying to say. So in Yama, what we do is, we try to be good to others. That's Yama. Okay, not Yamraja, just Yama. Then we have Niyama. Niyama means be good to yourself. Being good to others is a Yama. Being good to yourself is a Niyama. Then we have Asana. Sit steadily and comfortable. Sit steadily and comfortable. That's called Asana. Then what is Pranayama? Controlling your breath, calm your mind. That's called Pranayama. Then what is Pratyahara? Withdrawing, from distractions. Now see a lot of noise is coming here and there, but I'm just trying to withdraw that. I'm just trying to focus myself. So trying to withdraw all kind of distractions. That's called Pratyahara. Then what about Dharana? Dharana means concentrating on one thing. Like for example, you're concentrating on the bindu. Just concentrate. Just focus. Just focus on one thing. So concentrating on one thing. That's called Dharana. Then what about Dhyana? Dhyana means, meditate deeply. Yeah, this is called Dhyana. And what is Samadhi? Samadhi means you're merging with the divine. You want to merge yourself with the divine. So we all know that there are 4 yugas. One is Sati Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So in the Sati Yuga, if you want to get salvation, moksha, nirvana, liberation, what you should do? You should do meditation. But is it applicable in Kali Yuga? Because in Kali Yuga, if you're meditating, the mind, keeps dwelling. What's happening there? What's happening there? And even you cannot sit for a long time also. You cannot sit like this, for hours together. You will change your postures. All right. That means it's a little tough. What is that? The meditation part in Sati Yuga. Then comes Treta Yuga. So in Treta Yuga, what they do is that they do chant Vedic mantras, and they use pure ghee. But nowadays, we don't find the true, genuine sadhus. People are wearing saffron cloth, people are having danda, they're having big, big beards, but they turn out to be swindlers, cheaters. Why? Because they do it because papi pet ka sawal dese na, for their stomach, they do it. That is not right. They make it like a professional. No, you should do it for the, for the good cause, not for the keeping God in the center. But today, what is happening? People are doing it for their own selfish agenda. And top of that, we don't even get pure ghee. We're getting the vanaspati, dalda, right? Even that is not possible in the age of, Trita Yuga. And then comes Dwapara Yuga. I'm from South India. There are so many temples I could see. But many temples, there are no pujaris. Forget about the pujaris. There are even no idols, deities in the temple. It's broken. So even that also, it's very difficult. Because in Dwapara Yuga, you're supposed to make a very gorgeous worship of the deities, temples. Now, it's very rare. Only if you go to Sri Lanka, you will find such things. But many places, no. You know, I'm from South Bangalore. If you go to Mysore, if you go to, Shimoga, if you go to Hampi, Udupi, you hardly find such things, right? And then finally we have a Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, one of the best way to get nirvana, salvation, moksha is by chanting the Lord's holy name, because it's mentioned in the scriptures. It says that iti shodaka nam nam kali kalmasha nasanam nata parataropaya sarva vedashu drishyate. It says nama chintamani Krishna chaitanya rasa vigraha पूर्ण शुद्ध नित्य मुक्त अभिनत्वे नामि नमः हरेर नाम हरेर नाम वे केवलम कलो नास्तेव 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 ततिर अन्यथा. The name and Krishna are not different, and in Kali Yuga we all find faults. One of the easiest way is to chant the Lord's holy name. That's what I'm trying to explain here. We spoke about the 8 parts of Ashtanga Yoga. That is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, and Dhyāna, and finally Samadhi. Now let's look at here. Somebody is doing Ashtanga Yoga, putting his posture, and wanted to meditate. Here, Kṛṣṇa is explaining in the Bhagavad Gita. It says, Samam kaya shirogravam dharayam akshulam stiraha samprakya nasikaram swam disha charnavakalam. It says, and also it says, Prasannatma vigathavir brahmachari utsaha mana sanyahata machito yukto asta paraha. It says one should hold one's body, neck and head erect in the straight line and stare steadily at the tip of your nose. Not that you do like meditation. It's like full step, And at the same time, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. That's what it says. And also, to do such kind of Ashtanga Yoga, there are some requirements. Should sit steadily, focus on nose. Look at this nose, focus on nose. And then you should control your body and mind. And also, it's best applicable for brahmacharis, not for householders. Of course, householders also can do that, but they have to have a complete control over their senses. And of course, very important is they need to have a discipline in body and thought. Not that you're doing meditation, but you're having different things in the mind. That is little risky. That's why Ashtanga Yoga says exercise the mind. Yato yato chanchalati manas chanchalam astutam tatas tato niyamita het atmani eva vasam anyad. It says from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So our mind keeps jumping from one thought to another. It's not steady. Even when we try to listen or focus, the mind thinks about other things like cooking. When will this Prabhuji finish his class today? Or somebody is coming, to meet me. So what is Kṛṣṇa is saying here? Whenever the mind runs away, we should try to bring it back and focus again. Just like I told you a couple of days back, like a tortoise. Tortoise keeps moving everywhere. Somebody is trying to harm, it'll all withdraw its senses. So we must train it again and again. So now I have a question for all of you. What should we do when our mind gets distracted? Okay, it's a very important question, and I want to see what is your understanding on this. Bring it back and focus again. That is the right answer. Okay, so now Ashtanga Yoga is quite difficult. Let me be very honest. See here, Arjuna is saying, Yo mam yogastvaya praktha samyena madhusudana tasyaham na pashyami chanchalavat sim tiram. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me. For the mind is restless and unsteady. So Arjuna tells Kṛṣṇa that controlling mind to this yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it's very difficult. For me, it seems impossible. All right? So look at here. In this sloka, very important sloka, Maybe you need to memorize this. It says, Chanchalami mana Krishna pramadi balavat dridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayur eva sanskaram. So Arjuna is saying that the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Oh Krishna, to subdue it, I think it's more difficult than controlling the wind. So here we can see that even though Arjuna was very focused in the past, we could see during the training of Dronacharya, where he could see only the eye of the bird, not the leaf, not the tree, not the fruit, not the branch. Still, same person now is saying this yoga is too difficult. Now, this is showing us that it is very hard to control the mind. Because he's telling I can control the wind, but not the mind. This is what Arjuna is saying. A given story. There was a man who was trying to do meditate. Who was trying to meditate, do dhyana, but he was getting distracted by a woman who was walking here and there. Why? Because his eyes was going. Who is this girl? I'm doing here tapasya. Sorry, I'm doing here meditation. Some girls are moving here. Who is that girl? So he said, "Oh, I should not be disturbed." So what he did, he got disturbed. He said, I don't want to get disturbed." So he says that maybe I'll close my eyes, so that I will not see her. So again, he's doing meditation. Again, he's getting disturbed. Why? Because when the woman is going here and there, she has an anklet, right? Anklet. That anklet is making noise. Chin, 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 chin. So this guy is again got distracted. So he thought, now I'll do something more. What is that? I'll take some cotton, I'll plug into my ear so that I don't hear. Then now he's doing meditation. Now what is happening? The girl who was moving around, she had some flowers on her head. So her fragrance is coming and he's getting again disturbed. So now he thought, I should not give it up. This time he also closes his nose. But even after doing all that, his mind is still thinking, did she came this way or not? The mind is still thinking about that woman. So this shows that externally we're trying to control is not enough, because the mind itself keeps wandering. It's always wandering, here, there, everywhere. So Arjuna is giving a conclusion that Krishna, I can control the wind, but not the mind. That's why this Ashtanga yoga system, it's not practical to you, to me, to everybody, because we are in a Sati Yuga. No. Dwapar Yuga? No. Which Yuga then? Treta Yuga? No. We are in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, quarrel, hypocrisy, they go hand in hand. So it's very quite challenging for us. Now, look at this. Arjuna is asking to Krishna, what happens if a person who starts a spiritual path, he does some yoga, bhakti, with a lot of faith, but fails to complete? Does he lose everything? So we can see a story of Bharat Maharaj, right? Bharat Maharaj, he left his whole kingdom. Why? So that he can come to forest and meditate and go back to home. But what happened? He was caught by a glance of a deer. And because of that, while dying, he looked at the deer and he died. Next life, he became a deer. And then again, he took another birth. That becomes Jadabat. I will discuss this in the further. So that's what is very important. Whatever you remember at the time of death, that's what you become next life. We'll discuss in the next couple of chapters. So in this sloka, Arjuna asked her, Krishna, he who begins the path of self-realization with faith and then stop it because of worldly thoughts does not reach the mature stage of yoga. What is the fate of a spiritualist who is not so successful? Krishna is replying to Arjuna's question. A person who fails in spiritual life is not destroyed. Be happy, okay? Somebody has done some spiritual bhakti, is still not finished. They're not destroyed. One thing is that he will not go to hell, nor he will lose any of his efforts. So what we can tell you, in the modern way, we are learning from school. We go to LKG, UKG, We go to school, college, we earn a lot of studies, we get a lot of masters. But once we die, in next life, again you should start from scratch. Again, LKG, UKG, kindergarten, school, college, all these things. But in spiritual life, it's not like that. Wherever you stop, it continues you from there. How is that possible? I'll explain in the next verse. Says, Tatra tam buddhi samyogam labate purvadekam yatathe chatha huya samsiddhu karo nandana. Oh, it says, on taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life and again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. O son of Guru. So Krishna is giving answer to the question. Arjuna asked Krishna, right? So what happens to a person who starts the spiritual path with faith, but later he fails, he's not able to complete. Does he lose everything? So very wonderfully he says, Lord is answering, if he had practiced for a long time and then fail, he will be born in a family of pure devotees. Wow, amazing, right? But somebody has practiced only little for some time. For him, he will be taking birth in a rich and cultured family. So that in next life, we'll start from where he left. So the this spiritual progress continues over lifetimes. That's why eventually we all will become perfect and attain perfection. So no need to worry. Now I have a question. That what happens if someone falls from the path of yoga? No. So you give me your understanding, what you understood from this conversation. All right. The question is up on the screen. What happens if someone falls from path of yoga? They lose all their progress. They're forgotten by God. They start from where they left off and next life. Yeah, that's the answer. They start from where they left. Because when you're doing yoga, as I said, yoga means connecting to the God. So when you're doing bhakti yoga, definitely, wherever you're left, you'll continue from there. So the right answer is they start from where they left off in the next life. That's correct. Okay. Now, not take much time because we want to have a lot of questions today. So if you look at this slide, talks about, an example. Somebody is very wealthy, educated, a lot of material things. It can't be carried in the next life. Today you're MBBS, MBA, next life you have to start from the scratch. Even a small little, you cannot take it back. But devotional service, it's completely opposite. You will never lose. Wherever you stop, we resume in the next life. That's what it says. After a long time, training is fallen. If it's in a spiritual family, he'll be born in a spiritual family, and then even though he falls in the early stage, he says early stage, after going to a Swarga Loka, enjoying it in the family of the God, family of the good, and very rare wealth is born. So what I meant to say in this slide is that, materially, whatever progress you do, next life start from the scratch. But if you do some kind of a bhakti devotion, it will continue where you have stopped. Right? That's why the past will not come back. The past will not come back, but stopped yoga can continue. Whatever yoga you have done, that will continue. Right? Makes sense, right? So look at this. What are the benefit? What is supreme yogi? This is the last two slides, last two slokas of this verse. It says there are many yoga systems like bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga. We have seen all that. But even if you forget everything from the previous chapter, no problem. In the last 5 days, I'm telling you different things from the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Even you have nothing is going to your head, no problem. Just concentrate on this sloka, the verse what I'm going to discuss now. Because this is the final verse of the Karma Yoga. Because this is the 6th chapter. Next we're going to the 7th chapter. Right? So just focus on this. Even if you forget what I had discussed in the last few hours, few days, that's okay. I'm still okay. Better you forget. but no need to remember that all. That's okay. I just only request, just focus on this one thing, this one or two slokas. That's enough. That will be a climax of karma yoga. We are discussing it very carefully. What is that? Let's start with. It says, it's from sloka 6.46. Okay, that is 6th chapter, 46th verse. It says, tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi jnanibhyo api mato adhikaha karmabhya chadiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavati Arjuna. Oh, yogi is a yogi is greater than the ascetic, greater than the empiricistic, and greater than the fruity worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. Now, in this sloka, Kṛṣṇa is saying a yogi is greater than a person who does tapasya, leaving all the beards, like doing tapasya, So he is greater than that person. Again, he says, greater than that person is a person of knowledge, who was jnana, right? Gnani. Again, he says, greater than that person is one who works for results, karmi. So Arjuna, in all situations, just be a yogi. What does it mean? It means that somebody is doing tapasya with a lot of beards, the ascetic, not the greatest. For example, we all know Hiranyakashipu. He did a lot of tapasya, but his goal was to fulfill his own selfish desire. So even we sometimes do a lot of hard work, control food, wake up early in the morning, control senses. We work very hard, so that in the future we can enjoy. That's also a desire driven, because we should not have a selfish motive. Then there is a Gnani. We may know all the Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda Veda. He flows the Gita Upanishad, 700 slokas from the Gita, all Sanskrit. But if he doesn't follow even one instruction of the Lord, what is the use? Someone may say, Prabhu, I'm attending all the classes, nothing is going to my head, but I can follow one instruction. What do you get? What is that? You say, Prabhu, I'll offer the food to Kṛṣṇa, before I eat. That's it. That's it. That means you are greater than all these things. That person is a greater. So it's like someone who studied medical degree. He got his PhD, MD, but never till now did any operation, never treated any patient. What is the use? Similarly, someone may know all the scriptures but does not follow them, then what is the value? What is the value? So Jnani only has knowledge. A fruity worker keeps thinking, I want to do this, I want to do that. So this also is like a self-centered, right? But a yogi is always connected to the Lord. Whatever he does it for Kṛṣṇa. That's why Kṛṣṇa says, among all the tapasvi, the gnani and the karmi, the yogi is the best. The yogi is the best. In all circumstances, just be a yogi. That's why even if you forget everything else, just remember this. Among all, tapasvi people, ascetic and scholars and workers, the one who is connected to Kṛṣṇa, the yogi, is the greatest in all situations. So become a yogi. Now the question is, according to Kṛṣṇa, who is the greatest among all? So I have this question on the poll. You can try to reply. One moment, let me check it out. Yes, there we go. The question is up on the screen. According to Kṛṣṇa, who is the greatest among all? One who is connected with the God, yogi. Yes, exactly right. That is the right answer. It says, Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatindrana atmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samyukta tamo mataha. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me, within himself renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and he is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So the conclusion of chapter 6, Kṛṣṇa is saying that very clearly, Bhakti Yoga is greater than all. It says na, it says Bhajate Yoma. That one is greater than all yogas. All right. So someone may say, we're also doing bhakti, but what is bhakti actually? No, we are not yet doing bhakti. We are trying to become a devotees. We're trying to do bhakti, but we are not yet bhaktas, because the bhakta means a pure devotion. Example, let's say always, thinking of Krishna, what can I do, Krishna? How can I serve you? Instead of that, what we do, instead of saying what can I give to the Lord, we think what is for me, So there is a lot of difference. That's why, there's one great Tamil poet, he was not at all interested to read Vedanta at all. He was a great devotee. So he decided to grow a small garden with the flowers, make garlands, and offer to the Lord. That was his only service, And there was one king by name Vallabha Deva. So he wanted to know the meaning of Veda. So he hung a big bag full of gold coins in the palace. So he said, if someone can tell the true meaning of Veda, the bag will cut into pieces and all the gold coins will fall down. Many people came and gave the meaning, the gold didn't fail. All right. Then the king became very morose, very sad. Oh, no one in my kingdom knows what's the meaning of Veda. That night, the Lord came in the dream of this, what's his name? Vallabha Deva. He said, there's one person by name Vishnu Siddha. You bring him, he will tell the meaning. So what happened? This king asked, get him. The next day, the palace workers, went to him. He said, no, I don't know. He said, you come and tell the meaning of Veda. He said, I don't know Veda. Even I'm not interested in reading all the Vedas because this Vishnu Siddha is very happy doing service to the Lord. He has a small garden. He plucks the glass, he makes garland, offers. He's very happy with that. But now king is telling, he's saying, I'm not interested in reading all these things, But then in that night, Lord comes in his dream. Says, actually, I'm requesting you, you must go and speak. Then, because Lord has said, he went. Now all people were laughing at him. Oh, look at this guy. He's a illiterate guy. He doesn't know anything about Veda or what he's going to say about the Veda. And then, everybody was like looking what he's going to speak about the meaning of this Veda. Then the king asked him, you please stand here. Please tell me what is the meaning of Veda. Please tell us. So this sadhu, Vishnu Siddha, he said the meaning of Veda is understand God, love God. Repeating, understand God, love God. Serve God, love God, serve God. In the moment when he said this, suddenly what happened? The gold coins started, falling, and everybody were like shocked. Oh, the gold bag is fell. Everybody said, Jai, Jai, Jai Vishnu Siddha, Jai Vishnu Siddha. And the king was so happy. He made him to sit on the elephant for the ride, a procession. Then people wanted to see him. Then, that Vishnu Siddha is telling, please understand, the Lord, actually, you see, there's something very important I want to share. Lord himself wanted to see his devotees glorified. But we all glorify the Lord. We feel very happy, right? But when the devotees are glorified, the Lord also becomes very happy. And you want to see that this Vishnu Siddha, the Siddha, when he's doing like this, I want to glorify him. That's why this Vishnu Siddha, he asked the Lord. He said, why did you came? So many people are coming here, I would request Lord, please, you go off here because many people's evil eye will fall on you. Now I want you to be safe. This is what this person is telling to the God. That's why I think if there are any Tamil devotees in this class, there's one there's one there's one kind of a Sanskrit verse which this Vishnu Siddha told to the Lord. It is something like this. I'll try to say. I'm not very clear. It says. Pallanda Palayora Tanda Palakoti Nurayaram Pallandanentol Manividam, something like that. Sevadi, Sevittu Kap, something like that he says, But I'll tell you what's the meaning of this. The meaning is that my Lord, you live for countless years, and you be blessed by thousands of years. Let me protect this beautiful Lord, and this is actually he's praising the Lord. Okay, this is what he's saying, I think it's called Pashuram, I believe, So what I meant to say is in this verse, actually, this verse was told by one of the Alvars, Peri Alvar, among the 12 Alvars, He was overwhelmed with the motherly affection of the Lord and he wishes to protect the Lord with the chanting, That's why we could see that though the Lord protects the entire universe, this Peri Alvar is loving the Lord. Amazing, right? This is the heights of a pure devotion. So I think we are almost in the last page of the slide. Will not take much time. So what I want to say here is that I want to give a small example. That if you want to offer food to the Lord at home, wherever you have to first offer tulsi and offer to the God. And also you may say, how does this karma yoga, jnana yoga, everything is included in the bhakti yoga. For example, let's say I'm just telling you, let's say I'm trying to become a devotee. I want to offer some bhoga for the Lord. So what I do, I call some friends. Prabhu, can you just go to the vegetables, get some vegetables? Now he is not a devotee, but he's going to market, get vegetables. But for whom is getting it? For the Lord. That also is a bhakti yoga, So like that, whatever people are doing, somebody is cutting vegetables, somebody is cleaning, the temple. So everything is coming in a bhakti yoga. Ultimately, what I meant to say that all the yoga systems comes in the bhakti yoga. Even a person doesn't believe in God, if you send him to buy some vegetables for the offering, he gets benefited. Someone want to cut vegetables, he is benefited. Somebody plucks some flowers, he gets benefited. If you want to offer some fruit, the fruit seller, the tree, even the tree gets benefited. Amazing, right? This is what happens in the bhakti yoga. That's why Kṛṣṇa says, this is my opinion. Among all the yogis, the one who does bhakti to me is the highest. That's why I'm telling you this sloka is very important. Yoginam api sarveshu mat vitrana atmana. Shraddhavan bhajante yomam samyuktatma mataha. So what is bhakti yoga? We will see, discuss tomorrow in the next chapter. Okay, now I have a quick question for all of you. Let me see if we can answer this question. According to Kṛṣṇa, who is the highest among all yogis? Is it the tapasvi? Is it knowledge? Okay, one who worships Kṛṣṇa with a devotion. Yes, that is the right answer. Now, I want to do a quick summary of what I discussed today from chapter 6. So chapter 6, we discuss about how Kṛṣṇa is explaining how to control the mind and be focused on God through meditation. Then spoke about a true yogi is not just one who renounces work, but one who performs his duties without attachment to the result. We spoke about controlling the mind is very essential because it uplifts us rather than degrades us. We spoke about how meditation should be practiced in a very clean, quiet, steady place, focusing on Kṛṣṇa, because distractions are very natural, but one must repeatedly try to bring the mind back. So, among all yogis, one who meditates on Kṛṣṇa with love and devotion is considered the highest, because spiritual effort is never lost. So, whatever progress we do, it always continues into the next life. Ultimately, Kṛṣṇa declares that the one who worships me with love and faith, he is the greatest yogi. And now the Bhagavatam says how to do that. It says a devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. That's the ultimate religious principle for living entity in the human society. So among all the yogis, the devotees who chants the name of Kṛṣṇa is the best yogi. Of course, I want to give my own personal experience, how this Harinam saved me. So if you think I can do that, you can just leave a message. Yes, you say, then I'll just take 2 minutes. I'll just give my realization how Lord actually, helped me and developed me the faith on the holy name. Do you think should I explain this? Because we are running short of time. Okay. I want all of you to leave a chat. Okay. Okay, somebody says yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, I'll make it very quick and very fast. Okay. So this is about how holy name, the name of God is so powerful. Actually, when I was very small, when I was in college days, that time my mom, she was not keeping well. She was in the hospital. This is a unknown child incident. So when I was working in a Bangalore, I had to admit my mom in this hospital. It's called Narayana Hrudaya Hospital. Because due to health issues, right? So the hospital is made in such a way the entrance has a lobby, it has a temple, it has a church, it has a masjid. So one day when I was chanting near the lobby, I saw a group of strange people. They were in the temple and they were crying. And they were like crying. So I thought, okay, why is children's parents are crying? So I went there, told them, don't cry. Everybody has to suffer, undergo this. Just chant the Krishna's name. I told them, then I was just continuing. So they were like 14 people of them who were sitting in the temple and chanting. There was a Hanuman, not Hanuman temple, Ganesh temple was there. So one elderly woman, she caught my hand literally, and she took me to the main doctor. And the doctor thought that maybe I'm a part of their family. So the doctor, he looked at me, he took me to a ward and he showed the one child that was their child. And he was in the completely, in like ICU, right? He showed me the child whose body was completely filled with wires. Now, seeing this, I was not able to digest. And you might be knowing, this doctor's name was Devi Shetty in Bangalore, very famous heart specialist. So this doctor, first time I saw, he bowed his head down towards me. He said, see, sir, we have done all the best to protect the child. But I'm telling you, this child cannot survive because this child has come to the last stage. So the doctor raised his hands. Now, when he was saying this to me, he was very emotional. And then he said, if God wants to save him, then, miracles can happen. That's what the doctor said. Then immediately, the lady who was from far away, she was seeing me and doctor this conversation. And the doctor is saying in a very emotional way. So the lady thought, okay, doctor is conveying the child has died. So now she is like screaming there. Then I told doctor, I will have to meet them. So I will manage. So I went, I was screaming from there. Doctor is saying that the child is out of danger. So be happy. Doctor was thinking, why this guy is telling a lie? I said, doctor, I'll manage. So I went, I told the families, you don't have to cry now. Doctor said that the child is out of danger. So tomorrow they have a small operation, everything will be done. Okay. Now this 14 people, the elderly women, they thought, oh, really? Really? I said, yes. So I took them to the temple, where we have the lobby, church, temple, and mosque. So I told them, see, tomorrow you have an operation for your child. So don't worry, he'll be taken care. So I want you to do one small thing. What is that? I'll give you one mantra. You start chanting this mantra. That was Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So I went and spoke that to the family, and all these 14 people together, when I wrote this in the chitta, they were actually sincerely morning till morning, they were chanting this name. You know what happened? The operation went through, and after the operation got over, the doctor was literally searching for me, and then when I just came to meet the doctor, he said, no, your God has done a miracle. I said, what are you saying? Actually, when I personally went and saw the child, the child fingers were moving. It's really out of the danger. Then this family thought, I am only God. I am only Krishna. Actually, and that was the day when my mom was supposed to get discharged. So when I was taking my mom in a trolley, out of that hospital, then the whole family they just attacked me, and they started kissing me, touching my feet, saying that you protected my Lord, you are God. I said, I am not God. I am a servant of the God. I said, I'm a Das. Somebody is Das, they're always been Das. Why? Because they're servant of the Lord. So I told them that, I am not God. All right. What you should do is, I only told that you just chant the Lord's name, and you did that with a lot of sincerity. And because of that, Lord responded to you. So that is why my only request for you is that now that your child is being protected out of the danger, I'll give you some local address of ISKCON temple or any Vishnu temple. Just go there and just thank the Lord for what the Lord has done for you. The great heart, they accepted to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, one round. Just imagine what a transformation. I'll share another example. One of my very close friend, his sister she was a patient. She was in a cancer stage, and my cousin, actually was my cousin brother, actually, he told me that, see, you have been doing bhakti for so many years, why don't you, have some blessings on this lady. She got cancer. So I said, okay, fine. That is what you wanted me. Okay, fine. So I went, I met that Mataji, I told that Mataji, see, you have to chant the Lord's name. It is good for you, Then that Mataji was chanting, and immediately she was very enthusiastic. Then by seeing her, I became very blissful. So generally in my house, every Ekadashi, I used to organize 24 hours kirtan, So I asked Mataji, why don't you come to my house and participate in this kirtan? So she said, I want to come, But on the day when it was Ekadashi, this lady was really ill, and she came to my house in the down floor, but I was staying in the first floor, so she couldn't make it up, But then it took almost 6 hours for her to climb the staircase. Finally, she came for the 24 hours kirtan, and then we did kirtan. Then we gave a small pravachan that Lord is the supreme Lord. He is a caretaker. He will take care of us. And that lady, she's a patient. She took a lot of prasadam, and finally she said, I believe in Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa will take care of me. This is the faith she developed. And after that, after a few days, I got a call. My cousin brother told that this lady, she was a cancer patient. Now I think she is in a stage where she may leave the body any moment. So immediately I told, you come to my house and meet me. So I gave a small garland. That was the Radhastami day. The Radhastami day is the birthday of Mother Radharani. Okay. And then then I couldn't go because I was in a hurry because that day I had a night shift. So this person came to my house, took the garland, and then he went to their house. The moment he put the garland on their neck, that lady, she just uttered only one word. She said, Narsimha. That's it. Then she died, and then this gave a big boost for me. All those people who came to that house, nobody were crying. They were all chanting the Lord's holy name. So the name has very, very power. See, that's what, it's very amazing to tell such kind of stories. But it is not just a story. It's what happened in my life. So this is what I wanted to convey. Finally, please take up the holy name very seriously. And tomorrow we're going to discuss chapter 7. That's the knowledge of absolute. So tomorrow's class is just not a class. It's a revelation, a powerful, surprising disclosure of truth. So I request all the dear truth seekers, after preparing ourselves through meditation, renunciation, yoga in chapter 6, we step into the heart of Bhagavad. This actually what I'm going to share tomorrow. This is the heart of Bhagavad Gita. So because we're going to speak about chapter 7, knowledge of absolute. That is a Jnana Vijnana Yoga, knowledge of absolute.